to get rid of a valuable freehold. To the tune over 100 years of over £50 billion of our money when you inflate it every year. I mean, how can this happen? How can they think this is a good idea? And we're still trying to stop this terrible... It's the worst property deal in the history of all property deals. And I'm a real estate guy. I mean, I've done a few bad deals myself, but never that bad. And then we get to the blunder budget, don't we? Well, as our Rachel, as Lee quite rightly said, I think he was being polite, actually. Rachel from accounts. But all credit to her. She stood there and she gave her budget last October. And it's been an absolute catastrophe. Whether it's the family farm tax, whether it's taxing us another £40 billion a year, spending 60 or 70 billions of pounds, and the waste and the extra borrowing, you couldn't make this stuff up. And how's it gone in those few months? Well, tomorrow is her second big day. Yes, we're looking forward to it, aren't we? She's calling it a spring statement. Anybody with any common sense is calling it an emergency budget. That's what it is. We'll see what she has to say. But the reality is, it's not going very well. Because from the moment she sat down in her first budget, growth has collapsed. The Bank of England have halved their forecast, the OBR's halved their forecast. We'll be lucky this year to see any growth whatsoever. Growth is down, jobs are plummeting, inflation is higher than they wanted, and the interest rates. They said the interest rates were going to come down. Far from it. Literally today, the 10-year cost of government borrowing is at almost a record high. It's almost back to the level it was in January. The bond markets are on absolute tenterhooks. The 30-year cost of government borrowing is at a record high for over 15 years. That tells you the markets don't like what she is telling us. She hasn't got a clue. How long do we think she's going to last? Any ideas? Any bids? April the 2nd. It's like April Fool's Day. I mean, the problem is he can't get rid of her. But she is having an absolute shocker. She simply doesn't understand. Oh, but we're told she's an economist. Anyone believe that? Then you've got the business secretary. Well, he must know what he's doing because he's a solicitor. Well, that turned out to be a load of twallop as well. I mean, you couldn't make this stuff up. They haven't got a clue. And the bad news is that I fear this is going to get worse before it gets better. But already Reform are having a massive, massive impact. Because we're equal first or leading in the national polls, 26, 27%. And the other side, the opposition, they're absolutely terrified. They don't know what to do about it. In Scotland, I was up there the other day. They're like, even Labour and the SNP are getting together. They're like a coalition of the terrified against our progress. And because they're terrified, they're starting to copy us. Yes, Sir Keir is trying to pretend he's a reformer, but it's not going very well. So he's copied us on defence spending, saying we've got to get to 2.5% in 3 years and 3% in 6 years. He's copied us on foreign aid. He said quite rightly that we should slash foreign aid. These were all things in our contract last July. I think he must have done a bit of bedtime reading when he was on his own in Lord Ali's penthouse. So they're copying us on that. And then also, he's copying us just these last few days. They're talking about slashing the civil service, welfare reform, cutting the size of the state. Do you believe any of this stuff? No. Do you think it's all just talk, all waffle? Yes. That is the reality. And then you've got the most dangerous man in the British economy today. Yes, Red Ed. Mad Ed Miliband. I mean, he's obsessed with net zero. Absolutely obsessed with it. We saw the consequences of it just last Friday. Because of net zero, Heathrow Airport didn't have a proper backup system. I called it out. They went absolutely tonto at me. Very upset. But that's the hard truth. 74 pages of net zero report from Heathrow Airport. Net zero is the greatest act of financial self-harm ever imposed on this country by the clowns in Westminster, until we arrived. I call it net stupid zero. That upset Red Ed. And not only is it destroying jobs, destroying industries, destroying communities, it's putting up all our bills. The energy bills are going up, they're not coming down. The cost of living is going up, it's not coming down. All because of net zero. And they never told us that across Lincolnshire, that they were going to blight our agricultural farmland with 30 or 40,000 acres of solar farms. Do you want that? No! Oh no, maybe you'd like thousands of huge, ugly pylons across your land. Do you want that? No! Are you sure? No! We don't want it, do we? No! So we've got a cunning plan. Just last week, I met one of the top executives at National Grid, and I just reminded him of Reform UK's policy on pylons. Any new pylons from now, they better put the cables underground first time round, because if not, when we win the next general election, we will legislate when we win the next general election, we will legislate that National Grid will have to put all of those cables on those pylons, new pylons from here on, they'll have to put them underground. All of them. So I said to him, you might as well get it right first time. Put them underground first time, and then your shareholders won't suffer that extra cost. And we'll do that because we won't let them pay any dividends until they've done it. That's how we're changing the course of policy. That's the influence that we are having. So National Grid have gone away to think about it. Does anybody want these big, dangerous battery storage systems alongside these solar farms? No. Quite right too. They are dangerous. And we're working hard with the anti-solar groups. And I've said we'll have to ban these things. They're dangerous. One went up in flames in Essex the other day. You can't put these things out. Putting off toxic fumes, toxins into our soil. But because no one wants to say how dangerous they are, there's a conspiracy of silence. I've written to the fire chiefs, the health and safety executive, I've written to Red Ed. I said, who's in charge of the safety standards? No one's telling us, because the truth is, they don't want to admit it. These things are dangerous and we've got to stop them. That's the influence we're starting to have on net zero. And it's important here in Lincolnshire. And it's only Reform that's committed to remove the dreadful family farms tax. That's an absolute catastrophe for all farmers, for all the reasons that we know. That was in our manifesto last year, our contract. We should scrap all inheritance tax. We need to encourage long-term investment. These are the things that matter here in Lincolnshire. What also matters is that we've got a great new opportunity, because there's a new mayoralty for Greater Lincolnshire. And we know that with your help and everybody's help, we have a fantastic opportunity to win it. Do we want to win the new mayoralty? And here's the thing, folks. Just think what we can achieve if we win the mayoralty and if we win the county council. For too long, the complacent Conservatives have had Lincolnshire to themselves. Have they done a good job? No. Have they been complacent? Yes. Have they wasted a load of our cash? Yes. Talking of wasting cash, have you heard the one about the bat shed? How much do you want to spend on a bat shed? 1,000 quid? Million quid? Any bids for £1 million on a bat shed? Over there has been paying attention. On HS2, they decided that it would be a good idea to spend 100 million quid on a bat shed. That's your money. Absolute ludicrous. The waste of money everywhere, including here in Lincolnshire, has got to stop. That's why Lincolnshire needs change. That's why, folks, we must have reform. Do you think Lincolnshire needs reform? Yes! Are you sure? Yes! Then I've got good news for you. Change is coming. With your help, campaigning, knocking on doors, we've got loads of candidates here tonight. I know it, you know it, Nigel knows it, and our fantastic mayoral candidate knows it. We can win. Now, are you sure you want to win? Yes. Are you sure you want to back the best mayoral candidate in this election campaign? Yes. Then please, do me a massive favour. Watch this video, and then, at the end of the video, give a huge welcome to our mayoral candidate. She's a Lincolnshire lass. She studied at the University of Lincoln. She was a county councillor in Boston. She knows this county. She can win. She will be a great, great mayor of Greater Lincolnshire. So first up, folks, hopefully, with the joys of technology, let's have a video of Andrea Jenkins. Where's the video? Yes.
I'm Andrea. I was a Member of Parliament for 9 years. I stood against Ed Balls and unseated him in Morley and Outward. I even stood up in the chamber in the House of Commons and told Theresa May to resign.
Isn't it time to step aside and let someone new lead our party, our country and the negotiations?
Really, my entrance into politics was here in the great county of Lincolnshire. I was a county councillor, and I sort of fell into politics actually after the death of my father. He used to say, it's not where you come from in life, but it's what you do in life that matters. And my siblings and I, we always believe that. You know, it's what you invest in life, in the community, and in the country actually. There's 3 key policies that I'm focusing on. The whole skills agenda. Lincolnshire's been a bit of a brain drain, where we see our young people educated and they leave the great county. We've got to future-proof our great economy, make sure that our children have got these skills, the tech skills, and also to be able to compete on the global stage. I'd like to retain the talent in Lincolnshire. And thirdly, I want to ensure that every penny of taxpayers' money, of your money, is well spent. We've seen that Britain is broken. Not only do we have an incompetent Chancellor who cannot manage the economy, we have a 2-tier policing system, we haven't created the environment in Britain for businesses to thrive. Reform will make sure that your children are taught properly, you're safe in your home, and that our country can be the best possible. Britain is broken, and Britain needs reform.
Thank you, Richard. Isn't it great to have an MP in Lincolnshire? And Richard is one of the amazing MPs. Unlike those who just talk on social media, he does the work in the chamber and has been 100 times now in that chamber. That's to be celebrated. Now, I'm not like Richard and Nigel. I've got a memory like a sieve. I still call it baby brain, so I've got my notes, I'm afraid. But look, we're here. And what a journey it's been. Do you know, I feel alive. I feel alive and happy. And because I'm at home with a party who also wants the best for Britain, just like every councillor candidate here, just like everyone in this audience. I've never felt this buzzing, well, not for a long time actually, since fighting for Brexit. And, you know, we were at a similar juncture. During Brexit, we wanted to get our voices heard, the silent majority. And now we've got that same fight. We need to fight for common sense. We need to fight to preserve the history of our once great nation. and root out those woke trigger warnings that are on our history and our literature. We need to fight this two-tier justice system, which sees people locked up for their social media posts while real criminals let out. And we need to fight for our country, to ensure the British people are heard, and to cease being back of the queue. Now, aren't you sick of being back of the queue, the British people? Now, to the people of Greater Lincolnshire, I ask you to take stock of where you are at the moment. Now, this momentum's been building, and it's in less than 6 weeks, it's Judgment Day. But we've seen how Labour are bankrupting Britain. We've seen how they don't care about our pensioners, and we've seen how they're pillaging our farms. We've seen how trade unions are really running Britain, and how Labour have a stranglehold on businesses with their employment rights bill. And we've seen Mad Ed Miliband trying to desecrate the countryside here in Lincolnshire with pylons, tens of thousands of acres of solar farms. And do you know that he actually wants to ship thousands of tons of chicken poop from the East Midlands and dump them here in Lincolnshire? So even the great Lincolnshire air will smell different under the Labour government. And we need to put a stop to that. But let's not have selective amnesia about the Conservative Party, the party that I was once with for decades, who I left because they are no longer Conservative. I spoke up countless times. I've told 2 prime ministers to resign. But let's not forget their broken promises. We've seen the effects daily across every inch of our country of the mass migration. We cannot get a doctor's appointment. We cannot get the children into the schools that we want. And under the Conservative government, can you believe this? That our children were taught that there's more than 2 genders. Now, the Conservatives profess to be low taxes, but look at their record of tax rises under their leadership. We saw it nationally and locally. Every Conservative council across Lincolnshire has raised your council tax, including the Conservative mayoral candidate who professes to be low taxes but has raised your council tax for the last 2 years. But let's not forget, this great county has been Conservative controlled for decades, but they've failed to invest adequately in our infrastructure, our roads remain neglected, and our local services are underfunded. We deserve better, and it's only Reform who can change things. It's only the Reform Party who can change things in Lincolnshire, and it's only Nigel who can change things in government. Nigel will be Prime Minister. Now, these elections in May is a great opportunity to actually send a message to both Labour and the Conservative Party. And do you know they need that message? They have let Britain down, and now it's Reform's turn to get this country back on its feet so it can be truly great again. Now, in less than 6 weeks' time, we will start rebuilding. We need to elect Reform councillors as well as mayors across the country to begin this mammoth task, and you'll meet some of these later. We've got some amazing talent. And if I'm elected on the 1st of May to be your mayor, I'll be responsible for 1.2 million people. And you know, I'm committed to delivering once in a generation real change. I want to kick that door down for common sense. I will lead with a sword of common sense. I'll cut through wastage and bureaucracy. And do you know something? This climate emergency narrative, we've got to cut through this. And the work from home culture. Do you know that some of our councils, we've looked at the stats, some of the council officers, up to 75% on some occasions, are working from home? Conservative-led councils. My common sense manifesto, which I'm going to go through now with you. It will cut through wasteful spending and ensure that every penny of taxpayers' money is spent wisely. I want to see an end to the funding of unnecessary roles like diversity officers. Let's spend that money fixing our potholes. It's simple, isn't it? Now, my plan puts Lincolnshire people at the forefront of policy decisions. I will turbocharge skills, boost our economy, and will get Lincolnshire moving with my transport and infrastructure pledge. I'm backing business with funding and driving high-tech innovation. I'll be uniting local industries to create jobs and investment, and I oppose Ed Miliband's unrealistic net zero targets. I will instead protect our flood defences, strengthen food and energy security, that's far more important, and ensure that the stunning countryside will not be marred by endless pylons. We all must get together and fight. Now, we all know the effects of mass migration in the country, but did you know that some of Lincolnshire towns, 25% of social housing goes to people not even being born in Britain? Now, people talk of human rights, but what about the rights of the British people? We pay our taxes. We can't get a dentist or doctor's appointment, and many are waiting years to get a house. Illegal migration is tearing the fabric of our nation. All public services at breaking point, and enough is enough. Every council candidate here, we will be fighting against this narrative. This evening, I'm announcing my Putting Lincolnshire People First policy. I will ensure that Lincolnshire people are at the heart of the policy decisions. No more being back at the queue. Lincolnshire people will come first, whether it's housing, services, or public funding. I will introduce my Lincolnshire First Share. To secure more funding from Westminster, I will fight against the solar and wind farms on prime agricultural land. And we've got some of the fantastic groups in the audience. You'll see them at the end. They've got some great banners. Please have their photographs taken with it. We've got people in the community who's fighting against this government, and I take my hat off to you. I'll be creating a managed house building that works with the residents, not against them. I believe in I before E, infrastructure before expansion. Now, My Homes for Heroes is a housing programme for veterans. They fought for us, and it's time that we fought for them. My local access priority plan ensures Lincolnshire residents get the first priority on housing and services. And we'll fight for a better devolution deal. Now, I don't know if you're aware, but the 3 Conservative council leaders for North, North East and Lincolnshire itself, they helped form the deal. And you'll hear the Conservative candidates say this. But they've hamstrung it. We are the poor relation in Lincolnshire through them. Do you know that you're actually, to begin with, a glorified committee chairman? Because we won't have the same powers as Andy Burnham. We won't have the same powers of the West of Midlands mayor. And that is because they want to hang on to their power. They want to control things. But we've got to break that door down. And do you know what I will do? I will publicise all my meetings. And I will shame them into delivering this manifesto. But most importantly, we've got to get our councillors elected too. And then I will have the power to get through legislation, to get through the budget, and we will make lots of noise, won't we? Now let me ask you, should our prime agricultural land be sacrificed for solar and wind farms? No. We must protect them, and I stand firm against overdevelopment. We've got to preserve our agricultural heritage. Now look at the flooding. How long must we endure before action is taken? I will hold both the government and the Environment Agency accountable. To push more powers back to the drainage boards, we need to get dredging again like our forefathers. No more delays and no more excuses. Transport and infrastructure comes under my brief. Now picture this in a morning. where you don't have to worry whether the bus will show up, a road trip without the fear of wrecking your car with potholes. Now, this is not just a dream, it's a future we can build together as a Reform, as a team. We've seen how our A roads, the A15, A16, A17 and the A52, they are the arteries of our community, but they get clogged and neglected. And I pledge to seek investment and major road upgrades. But roads are just the beginning. We need better buses, more frequent, more affordable and more reliable services, especially for our rural communities. No one should feel isolated simply because of where they live. A bus service should feel like a lifeline, not a last resort. And what about our railways? It's time we push for direct services to major hubs such as London and the Midlands. Now, I don't like Sadiq Khan. I'm sure most of you in the audience don't. But one thing I will take from, I mean, he didn't introduce this. They have a Transport for London. Now, I will form a Transport for Greater Lincolnshire board. So we get all the key body decision makers together. So we enhance our transport network, and then we actually get Lincolnshire moving for once. But did you know, now this happened under a Conservative government and under Conservative councils, did you know that Lincolnshire receives 25% less funding in transport than other areas? Now, isn't that shocking? Now, we've had Conservative councillors, MPs right across the great county. Why have they not spoke up on this? Now, growth affects every one of us, and I've got a plan for growth and prosperity of our county. Businesses are the backbone of our economy, but it's often red tape that holds them back, and it's time to change that narrative. Whilst Labour punishes business, Reform, we will champion them here in Lincolnshire. I'm going to establish a business startup and growth fund, which will provide essential financial support for business startups. Why should businesses be burdened by regulation? And I will fight to reduce red tape so businesses can unleash their true potential. I'm fully committed to the Links and Defence Innovation Cluster to aim to attract high-tech investment into Lincolnshire. Now, to unite our efforts, I'll be establishing the Greater Lincolnshire Business Network so they can become a voice to push back on this abhorrent Labour government. Now, a thing that matters to me is that every penny of taxpayers' money is well spent. I will establish a Lincolnshire Doge. We've seen how they're uncovering some amazing things in the US. Now, as a taxpayer, I believe in a simple yet powerful idea. Your money should work as hard for you as you do to earn it. So I'm establishing the Lincolnshire Doge. It's not just a catchy acronym. I will actually be rooting out this woke waste. Things such as, did you know that the North Lincolnshire Council spent £800,000 of taxpayers' money giving away free air fryers? And did you know that Lincolnshire County Council spent £54,000 of taxpayers' money by making a video by the makers of Wallace and Gromit? What's wrong with local talent doing it? Now, I will slash unnecessary spending, because let's not forget this is your money. I will look at local government contracts, remove nepotism, I'll challenge the tendering process, and I will challenge the working from home narrative. I will also pledge to cut the local government workforce by 10%. We need a leaner and more productive local government. We need to ensure that it works for the taxpayer. By eliminating waste, what will that mean? Lower taxes for you. That's the most important thing. And our books will be open and be transparent. Now, I'm running out of time. I've got a whole plan for skills, but do you know something? And I'll be, as I said, pushing back on the net zero policies. But can we also put our hands together for Richard and Nigel? We are the only party, and Rich has done a hell of a lot of work on this, to push back on the net zero narrative and actually have a plan which suits Britain and the British people. So can we put our hands together to Richard and Nigel? Now, net zero, I believe it's been destroying jobs and it's been driving up energy prices.
Now, industries such as our farmers and agriculture and steel, they're struggling under these unnecessary restrictions. We must embrace common sense energy policy, which Richard and Nigel have put together. Now, Lincolnshire needs to lead the way on nuclear and hydrogen energy. We need to be creating jobs and lowering bills. And most importantly, in Lincolnshire, we need energy independence and food security. Now, let me be your strong, unapologetic voice that speaks up for the silent majority. Ladies and gentlemen, the time to act is now. We need your vote. We need you out on the streets delivering our leaflets. I've got 500,000 to deliver, by the way, if you want to help me. It's a good way to keep trim. But, do you know, here in Lincolnshire, only the Reform Party can save Lincolnshire. Only Nigel can save Britain. Clap for Nigel. Now, Reform stands up for communities, for country, and also important for me, for families. And regarding family, I'd like to introduce you to two family members who's important to me. My sister Deborah, do you know she had the COVID jab? She ended up in a coma. She woke up paralysed from the neck down. They said she'd never walk again, and in 9 months she walked. And she's been my rock. I'd also like to introduce you to my 7-year-old son, Clifford. Do you know Clifford? When I joined Reform, he begged me to become a party member. So Clifford is probably one of the youngest Reform Party members. Deborah, Clifford.
I now call the leader of Reform UK, Nigel Farage.
We are the new kids on the block. We have no experience in this Parliament whatsoever, even though some of us have tried many times over the years previously to get here. So we can't judge you from working in this place, but we can judge you from the way the outside world sees you. Believe me, folks, this is just the first step of something that is going to stun.
Ladies and gentlemen, fizzing with ideas and plans and energy. What's been missing for so long under the Conservatives? This is a massive, massive opportunity. And what you've heard from Andrea is that if she wins, when she wins this mayoral election, then we can make a huge difference in all those areas. Just one that she mentioned about flooding. With Andrea's help, that'll give me extra weight in order to negotiate with the Environment Agency. I've had meetings with them, the directors, I've had meetings with ministers. We know that you've got to dredge our rivers. We know that's how you stop the flooding, and we also know that the Environment Agency are putting badgers and water voles ahead of homes and businesses, and that is wrong. And that's why I know that with Andrea's help, with that extra power and leverage of this mayoralty, that we can help everybody in Lincolnshire. There is no doubt, ladies and gentlemen, not only does Lincolnshire need reform, but Lincolnshire needs Andrea. But of course, that's just one county. And we have to worry about not only the county of Lincolnshire, but we have to worry about our country, because our country is in a terrible state. But I have good news, folks. In the same way that a bad boss can ruin a good business in 2 years, a good boss, a real leader, a strong leader can turn around that business. And that's what can happen with running a country. Because with a good, strong, passionate leader, we can make Britain grow again. And we can make Britain great again. Do you want to make Britain great again? Well, let me tell you, folks, I've had the unique privilege of working with Nigel for a decade. Time flies when you're having fun. And let me tell you, I know, you know, and I think the country is beginning to realise that actually the next elected Prime Minister to save this country needs to be our Nigel. And before we welcome Nigel to the stage, let's just have a little taster on the video. Let's play the video.
I now call the leader of Reform UK, Nigel Farage.
We are the new kids on the block. We have no experience in this Parliament whatsoever, even though some of us have tried many times over the years previously to get here. So we can't judge you from working in this place, but we can judge you from the way the outside world sees you. Believe me, folks, this is just the first step of something that is going to stun all of you. Thank you very much.
Nigel Farage is Reform UK ahead of the Tories for the first time.
The party has rocketed up the polls since Nigel Farage announced that he was taking over as leader.
Re-energise Reform and seem to give them a poll boost.
Hard work is the only way anybody succeeds individually, and hard work is the only way we're going to have a chance as a country to turn any of this around. You know, for a Labour Party that couldn't define what a woman was, couldn't define what a working person was, well, after today, I'm pretty convinced they can't define what economic growth is.
We believe that a society looks after its weak, but encourages everybody else to do the very best it can. We don't care about skin colour, we don't care about orientation, we care whether you share the values of this country. We care whether you obey the law. And we'll judge you on who you are. We'll judge you on who you are as a person. Isn't this what everybody wants? Is that what we're going to fight for? Can we make history? Are you going to be part of it? Thank you very, very much indeed. Good evening, Lincolnshire. It's great to be back. I was here in 2019 and we did a meeting for what was then known as the Brexit Party. It's changed names since, but it's the same party. We did a meeting in here in 2019 and it was a really important political meeting because it was a couple of weeks away from a European election where we went from nothing to winning, getting double the number of votes of the next party, and it led to the ejection of, I think, the worst Prime Minister that I've seen in my lifetime. Who's the worst Prime Minister? Yes, he had loads of answers. No, it was Theresa May, because she was stopping Brexit. And we forced her resignation, and that meant we managed to leave the European Union. That happened in this hall, and that mattered. That mattered. Now, once Richard and I had been in Parliament Square on the 31st of January 2020, as 11 o'clock came and the ticker came for us to leave the European Union, what a moment it was. What a moment it was. I'd been training all day for it. I'd been to lunch, been in a couple of pubs, but it was a big moment, and I really thought, that's it. I'm done. I'm retired from politics. I've done my bit. What got me back into it last year was a genuine feeling that absolutely everything about this nation that was great, everything that we'd grown up with, everything that was fought for and defended, all the values that really matter were frankly in decline, and chiefly because of appalling political leadership coming from both parties. And I saw us in societal decline. I saw us in societal decline, in economic decline, and I thought something has got to be done. And as I made that fateful decision to give up a nice easy life and get back into the front lines, as I came up to London in the car, I thought, why am I doing this? Why am I doing this? What is it that's really driving me? And three things came to me. The three things that mattered to me more than anything else. Family, community and country. And that is what this party is founded on. That is what we believe in. And we're going to fight and defend all of those things. Now, we made a good start. We made a good start in the general election. But folks, this time, as we head towards May the 1st, this is for real. Doesn't matter what the odds say, doesn't matter the fact the Conservatives have over 50 seats on the council, doesn't matter that the bookmakers say that Andrea at this moment in time is only second favourite. Remember what happened in Boston and Skegness last summer. A massive Conservative majority was overturned by Richard Tice. And I believe we can do this. Now, one of your candidates earlier, Chris Reeve, gave me a quote. I think it's quite appropriate. The people who are crazy enough to think they can change the world are the ones who do. Steve Jobs. Can we, let me ask you, can we win the Mayoralty and Lincolnshire County Council? Can we do it? Well, let's hope we do. And I tell you what, we are very, very lucky with our opponents. It's what Napoleon said, don't give me good generals, give me lucky generals. And we've just got to say a huge thank you to Rachel Reeves. Big thanks to Keir Starmer. Because not 10 months in, they are making a complete and utter Horlicks of the whole thing. Rachel from Accounts, as she was dubbed by Lee Anderson, will get up tomorrow and give the spring statement. And we all know that over the course of this summer, there'll be very large numbers of people working in hospitality and indeed in retail who will lose their jobs. We know that we're getting poorer. Gross domestic product per capita has fallen for 6 of the last 8 quarters. And all of this goes on as mass migration reaches levels never seen before in the history of our country. And we learn that the last 3 million people that came in from outside Europe under a Conservative government, of the last 3 million, only 22% are working, and we're paying for the rest, and it's making us poorer. It's madness, and only we have got the courage and the guts to stand up and call it out and to say, we're not against anybody. We're a non-sectarian, non-racist party, but the population explosion has devalued the quality of life of everybody in this country, and if we win the next general election, we'll end this in its tracks. Be clear. And Starmer said he'd smash the gangs. Well, 1,500 young men have come in the last 5 days alone. We're now on for a record year. And hundreds of them, of course, are being put in counties like Lincolnshire. And the only way we deal with this is we've got to get rid of the European Convention on Human Rights and get back our sovereignty. The only way. And be in no doubt, if people come illegally, they will be deported as they used to be, as is just and proper. It's the only way to stop people coming. Now, here in Lincolnshire, we haven't got to worry too much about the Labour Party. Their vote was up on July the 4th last year. It will be significantly down on May the 1st, believe me. No, we are taking on the Conservatives in pretty much their strongest county in the whole of the country. So how do we think the Conservatives are doing running Lincolnshire? Well, one or two interesting little facts here. This, of course, Lincolnshire is known by many proudly as the Bomber County. And thank goodness we've stopped Scampton from taking in 2,000 young men. A campaign that I was at the forefront of from day one. And I did pop into the Dan Buster's pub earlier on the way here. But boy, we've still got enormous problems. And you know, I find it really difficult to believe that the Bomber County will be known in 10 years' time as the Pylon County. You will be a party of pylons, a party of substations, a party of solar energy on some of the best grade 1 agricultural land in Britain. It is madness, and guess what? The Tories started it, and Red Ed Miliband wants it to continue. And all of this at the same time, as we discover there is a massive natural gas field under the county, which could provide thousands of well-paid jobs. And even when the wells are filled, they won't take up more than half the size of a football pitch. Lincolnshire should be having a debate about whether we take this treasure from under our feet. We'll get none of that from the Conservatives. We've got to open up that debate in this campaign. And it really matters. And what about money? Well, your council tax is up by 21.5% over the course of the last 5 years. The boss of Lincolnshire Council earns 60,000 quid more than the Prime Minister. Do you think they're doing a good job? No. Well, the numbers actually take some believing. You see, they're now spending £200,000 a year on interpretation for foreign languages. They are filling up hotels in Skegness with young men who are called asylum seekers, damaging the town's industry. They're paying £50,000 a year to a Green ambassador. Did you know that Lincolnshire County Council owns 7,000 pieces of art? I'm not making this up. I haven't gone completely mad, I promise you. And yet they don't even know what the value of it is. They're spending money on equalities. They're wasting money in the most extraordinary way. They are now in debt. And yes, I know that funding from central government has been cut. And yes, I know that the bill for social care is going up. And we understand these are real problems. But they've led this county so badly, it is now £460 million in debt. And wait for this. If you take nothing else home with you tonight, take this one fact. The interest on the debt that is owed by Lincolnshire County Council, the interest alone is costing council taxpayers in Lincolnshire £52,000 a day. It's almost hard to believe, isn't it? £52,000 a day. Now, we can't promise to come in and wave a magic wand. We can't promise to have all of the answers. But we can promise to give the county a fresh start. We can promise to bring in the brains of people who've actually run real businesses, you know, because we have to get a grip. We have to get a grip on these finances, or goodness knows what the future of vital social services is going to be. And what about law and order? What about policing? Well, it's all very well and good, I know, to celebrate LGBTQ plus IA week or whatever it may be, if that's where you want your money spent. But the fact that now people, and Richard knows more about this than me, I'm being smoked out, look. The fact that people won't even go into Boston of an evening for an evening out for fear of crime suggests to me that the priorities of policing are wrong and that we need tough policing on the streets of Boston and around the county. So we can bring in a genuinely fresh start to this government, and I think we've got every chance of doing something really, really special. This is, May the 1st, is our first really big hurdle since the last general election. Now, it's good that we have so many candidates, and they're sitting here in the front row. They're not a bad-looking lot, really. It's good that many of them have not been in politics before. But it's equally good when people join us who've got experience of politics at all levels, like Dame Andrea Jenkins, who I'm thrilled is standing as our candidate. Andrea joined us just before Christmas. She was the 100,000th member, and we've more than doubled our membership since then. Something is happening in this country. Something is happening in this county. We're attracting candidates of her calibre, and I'll be back to help her between now and May the 1st. I want Andrea to win. We want Andrea to win. Because I know that she will do us proud. Of that I have absolutely no doubts at all. Now, there are many people in other parties, independents, other organisations that are joining us. And by the way, did you notice that one of the well-dressed members of your audience turned up wearing a Lincolnshire tie? Well, he's not wearing it anymore because I've nicked it. Now, we have some people who are joining us this evening who I'm going to ask to come onto the stage and introduce themselves. First, we have a councillor on East Lindsey District Council. He's been leader of the Skegness Urban District Society, a sort of independent-style party. Councillor Danny Brooks will, from this moment in time, represent us on East Lindsey District Council, and he joins me on the stage now.
Thank you. How do you follow that, the masters? So yes, I'm a councillor on East Lindsey District Council. And as of today, I'm making the announcement that I'm joining Reform UK. As Nigel has said, recently, up until today, I've been the leader of the Skegness Urban District Society, a party we formed because we didn't believe any of the major political parties truly represented us. We stood for real people, real needs, fighting for Skegness and the wider area of Lincolnshire. But now with Reform UK, we finally have a national political party that shares our values and our priorities. A party that stands up for real people, real communities, and real change. That's why I'm proud to stand here today and say, I'm with Reform. And let me tell you, Lincolnshire needs reform desperately. Lincolnshire is under attack like never before. The failing infrastructure, our roads are riddled with potholes crumbling under our feet. 50-metre high pylons to blight our beautiful countryside. Solar panels taking up farmland which should be used to feed the nation. And it's clear that the present government is hell-bent on finishing off farming in the UK. The dreadful inheritance tax could be the final nail in the coffin of Lincolnshire's farmers. This has got to stop. I'm just a poor ice cream man from Skegness. And I've had my business rates bill drop on the mat this week, and my business rates have gone up by 140%.
Right.
How can a small business sustain these, it's madness, it's madness. So for too long, our voices have been ignored, our communities have been left behind. We need proper investment, we need real leadership, and a party that puts Lincolnshire first. That's why I'm urging everyone to get out and vote on the 1st of May, because this is our chance to bring real change. Together with Reform UK, we can fight for a better future, a fairer, stronger and more prosperous Lincolnshire. So what I say to you is, let's make it happen. Thank you.
Danny, thank you very much indeed. Now, our next councillor has a very similar surname. He's Councillor Jimmy Brooks, and he's Danny's brother. He's also a councillor on East Lindsey District Council, and as of this moment, he's going to be there for reform, and I welcome him up to the stage. Jimmy, where are you? Good man.
Hi everyone, thank you very much. I'm Jimmy Brooks, Councillor for East Lindsey District Council for Burley Marsh. And I'm proud to stand here tonight and say that I have joined Reform UK. Like Danny, I was a member of Skegness Urban District Society, and we worked tirelessly for the best that we could do for our local communities. But Britain is now in a crisis. And our communities face serious challenges. Here in Lincolnshire, we are not just dealing with the cost of living, we're also dealing with roads that are basically crumbling and need urgent repair, 50-metre high pylons which are being forced onto us, hopefully they don't arrive, but also there's possibilities of nuclear waste being dumped in Lincolnshire as well. It is not acceptable, and we don't want that. These are the issues that really matter to our residents. That's why I joined Reform, a party that offers the best for our country, our communities, and our families. Now is the time for everyone who believes that Britain needs reform to join our party, because working together we can do so much for Lincolnshire and Britain. Thank you.
Jimmy, thank you very much. I should have said that Jimmy was the Deputy Mayor of Skegness. Our next speaker is the current Mayor of Skegness, Councillor Adrian Findlay. Mayor of Skegness, where are you?
Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Following that is some task I can assure you of. I think Andrea, Richard and Nigel have pretty much said everything that I wanted to bullet point in a little speech. I was asked to write a few words. I'm not much of a speaker, but I do like results. And from everything that you've heard tonight, that's one reason why I wanted to join Reform. I have done a little speech, so you just have to, shame to waste it. So, good evening everyone. My name is Councillor Adrian Findlay, your Skegness North candidate for the Lincolnshire County Council elections on the 1st of May. Tonight, I stand here before you to announce a decision driven by my undisputed passion and commitment to the people of Skegness. I have joined Reform It is not merely a change of affiliation, it is a declaration. Skegness and Lincolnshire as a whole is my home. Skegness is where I have raised a loving family and where my roots run deep. And I see, as you see, the escalating challenges that threaten our communities. We see the continuous decay, neglect and erosion of every fabric of towns, villages and the whole county. The time for empty promises is over. We need action. We need reform. And that is exactly what reform offers the UK. A bold, decisive approach to tackle the issues that have been ignored for far too long. We are not here to maintain the status quo. We are here to dismantle it. We are here to be the voices. We are here to be the voices of the unheard and to restore accountability and to deliver real results. The road ahead will not be easy, but I am confident that together we can achieve a reformed council for Lincolnshire. A council that cares and prioritises the genuine needs of the people. A council that restores pride in our communities and a council that actually delivers the change we desperately need. So mark your calendars for the 1st of May. It is not just a date in your calendar. It is a call for action, a chance to reclaim our future and a chance to build a better Lincolnshire and Skegness. So on the 1st of May, vote for you and your family's future. Vote Reform UK. Thank you.
Very good. Well done. Well done. Well done. Brilliant. Brilliant. All right, guys. So there you are. Reform is on the march. People are joining us. We're growing, but you know, it's about attitudes. It's about belief. We really believe in Britain. We believe in our country. We believe in our people. We believe we've been led badly. And you know, I feel very sorry now for working people. Their taxes, she'll say it tomorrow, it'll be frozen, won't it? The level at which you start paying tax will be frozen. More people going to work, and they'll look at each other of an evening and say, you know what? We'd be better off on benefits. We have to make work pay. We have to make people understand. And we've got to start teaching. We've got to start teaching our kids different values. Now, I am absolutely disgusted that the National Education Union next week, at their conference, will pass a motion that says they will tell late teenagers that Reform is a far-right dangerous party and that the youngsters shouldn't vote for it. These are the same people. These are the same people that hate our history, hate our country, indoctrinate our youth into hating everything that we've ever been and we in this room want to be. And I'll promise you, at county level, and when we win the next general election, I thought you'd like that, we will go to war with the left-wing trade unions that are poisoning the minds of our kids. We won't stand for it. Simple as. And I want young people to understand that if you want to succeed in life, you won't do it working from home. You won't do it on a 4-day week. If you want to succeed in life, you've got to work hard. And actually working hard, obeying the law, paying your taxes, being a good citizen, that's what we should be encouraging young people to be. We've got to turn this culture around completely. And Richard and others will tell you, they've said it already, I have too, we need a completely different energy policy. It is outrageous that a manufacturer in Britain is paying 5 times more for their power source than a manufacturing firm in America. We are literally deindustrializing this country before our very eyes. And our message is simple. We shouldn't be importing 40% of the gas that we need from Norway. We shouldn't be importing oil. We shouldn't be importing steel. We should make, manufacture, use all the things we need here in our country to the benefit of British workers and the British economy. Now, the opposition are very frightened of us. Very frightened of us. We had a bunch of screaming yobbos standing up and trying to shout me down in Doncaster this morning. But they're only there because they know that actually this progressivism, as they see it, this attempt to devalue everything about family, community and country, has hit a brick wall. It ought to have been the Conservatives that stood up to all of this, but because of moral cowardice and fear of being criticised, I mean, what's the point of being in politics if you fear being criticised? I mean, honestly. But because of their cowardice, they've allowed the march of the virus of Marxism right through our public institutions. And we are going to have to fight and battle to turn back that tide. But I believe, and I think you believe, that there is a silent majority in this country for good common sense. Most people understand what we're saying, and our job is to give those people a voice. And May the 1st does matter. And I tell you what, if we can do it here in Lincolnshire, there'll be no question that we are the official opposition to this dreadful Labour government, and the Conservatives would have consigned themselves to history and frankly deserved it. Deserved it. And we are upbeat, we are optimistic, we are happy, because we believe with the right people, we believe with people power, that we not only can turn this around, but we will turn this around. We will get our country back to something like it needs to be within the next few years. And if we don't, and if we fail, then frankly, this won't be a place we recognise. We'll see more and more of our young people leaving and going to work overseas. It'll be the end of our great story. And we are not going to allow that. We're going to battle through this. We're going to win. But all of you that have come tonight in this hall, and all of you online, and we know we get huge audiences watch this live, and they're watching it on TikTok, they're watching it on Facebook, on X, on wherever it may be. I would say to all of you, if you agree with us, then please commit now to doing something about it. Join us. Join us. Get involved with us. Help the Lincolnshire candidates. Deliver some leaflets. Speak to your friends. Do whatever you can do. Are you prepared to join the brave men and women who put themselves forward? Will you all do your bit in this campaign? Can we win this? Thank you very much indeed. Thank you. Okay, I'm now going to ask all of our Lincolnshire County Council candidates to join myself, Richard and Andrea on the platform. Up you come, so you can have a look at who you're going to be supporting. 70 different seats up on Lincolnshire District, County Council, sorry. And rest assured, we are fighting all 70 of these seats. Every voter in Lincolnshire will have the opportunity to vote for us. Come on, squeeze on, squeeze on, squeeze on.
Are we all in?
Great stuff. Ladies and gentlemen, I am proud as leader of this party to stand on this platform with these good men and women true. They are going into battle. Many of them have never done it before. They will get abuse and criticism. I didn't tell them that before. We know it. They will get some abuse. They will get some criticism. But I know from people like you and most people they meet, they're going to get much support and indeed much love. We are standing up for things that we believe in with all our hearts and all our souls. We are fighting with everything we've got to rescue this country from a terrible and terminal decline that it finds itself in. And we are not prepared to fail. We will not at any point falter. We are going to do this. Thank you and good night.